Hey people, Winter Tier 53 Faction War. This is Deathworld Temple and Tyranids versus Eldar for the blue. Tyranid team, his Lomors building a tunnel. Very high mobility Raven Alpha with some great offense, begins in range combat but can get melee weapons. Alongside YZ is a Hive Tyrant, very durable commander, walks through objects and cannot be suppressed on powerful offense. Disruption and support begins in melee combat with a basic synapse, YZ for our American friends. And rounding off this team here, Romulus Berserk is a Lictor Alpha, a melee specialist that can infiltrate and disrupt some awesome offense and a little bit of support too. Powerful melee fighter, grabbing a power node. Red Eldar Yipyip is a Warlock, a melee spellcaster that can leap into combat with some powerful disruption, support and offense too. Alongside here, Angrathul is a Farseer support commander that fights in melee combat, powerful buffs, some debuffs and control abilities, going toe to toe with the Hive Tyrant. And rounding off the teams is Mahror as a Warp Spider Exarch, teleporting commander that fights range combat, great for capping and harassing with some powerful control abilities too. Deathworld Temple then, the first ever Dawn of War 2 map that I made. Big open war zone in the middle with the flanks being relatively isolated here. A no natural VP layout which generally would favour a triple Eldar, because any small advantage they get, they can push the triple cap very quickly with their mobility. But this central area might be ruled by Tyranids with their fantastic team fight potential and ability to just overrun things with numbers and power. But this is Eldar. They could do a lot of tricky, crazy stuff to big blobs of Tyranids later on, setting up some nasty things. But I think it will serve them well to use their gates and try and keep these flanks locked down, which are both blue right now, owned by Tyranids. You have these very natural wreck points also, which the Eldar can harass with their gates. So you might see some of that. Expect some shurikens mid. They will have a lot of room for their powerful shooty stuff here, Eldar. So maybe some rangers up, dark creepers, that kind of thing. And of course 5 prisms and falcons will have a field day in mid with good space to maneuver and shoot. Warp Spider Exarch here forcing melee combat on some little termagants who are gonna have a bad time, I think. Forced off one of the Dire Avengers, but they are persuaded to leave themselves. No cap in mid. Here's that Hive Tyrant again. Back onto the field with extended carapace. Going to be very tempting for this guy to get the rending talons because of the banshees running around, but I think later on he'll be served well by the venom cannon in mid. Although that depends on if we see the fire prisms and stuff from the Eldar, which I assume we will see. Shuriken moving up here. Can control this area with some suppression. Can't suppress this fella, but will do a lot of damage to him. You see the range of the Shuriken just flung out there. That's because it just got the guide buff from the Farseer, improving range and damage. 30% on that, I think, on both of those things. There's constant fighting mid early on. We do have some adrenal gland Hormagaunts who are a big threat to Banshee's. Going to finish them off here, I think. Yes, they do. Seismic Roar of the rending talons helping out, and those Hormagaunts do get away. Tunnels being used, and if they can use those tunnels, I mean, on the west side and the middle, they can really help control the VPs. This Raven Alpha here of Lomors, and I'd expect we'll see his Corrosive Devourer. Warrior Brood jumping in with those power melee weapons. Barb Stranglers will be really good to help control the fights in mid. And we do see one up here. Great suppression weapon. Oh, Banshee's getting in amongst some termagants, but there's a Burrow Strike from some Raveners who can now force melee combat on his ladies. Fortune is up there, looks like, from the Farseer's Armor of Fortune. Banshees are able to get away, but do take some losses. There's that Barb Strangler doing its thing, shutting down the offense of these Dire Avengers. Didn't seem to affect the Exarch's ranged attack there. I wonder if those ranged attacks don't have cooldowns, so they're not affected by suppression. Wow. Death on those Dire Avengers. Double Hormagaunts jumping off there is painful. These are the double Hormagaunts of Lomors. Looks like Romulus lost his starting Hormagaunt brood. Is getting some more Raveners up. Meanwhile, east side, Eldar pushing this natural power over here. They might get a full bash too, because it's not easy to defend when you're mid. Takes a while to get over there. Rangers on the field for Mahror. Gone for the 1-1-1 build of Banshees, Shuriken, Rangers. Gives you a lot of flexibility and tactical options, but a little bit more demanding on your micro to manage 3 very different squads like that. Banshees getting a decap. Here come the Termagants. No upgrades for these fellas. But double Raveners are up, and they start with their Devourers these days, so give us some good range damage out the gate. I believe it's around 18 DPS per model. Used to be 22 DPS, but since they start with them now, I think that was toned down. Burrow strike there. Getting in on the Banshees, happy to fight them, and they do force them off. Did not see any kinetic pulses there, but I'm sure there was one. Pathfinder gear is up also. Shuriken in trouble though. Getting tied up by the Lictor. Nice special. He should get... Oh, flank. I was going to say he should get the Lictor off the field, but that was a nasty, nasty flank. Seismic Roar on retreat, just wrecking Mahror's stuff. He lost a Dire Avenger squad there, I think, and the Shuriken. Very nicely done by YZ. That was like a triple flank. All 3 players are over here. You could get some really nasty flanks on this west side too. Need to be hyper aware of that kind of thing. Awareness is key. Dire Avengers with their aspect, bashing power very slowly though. These guys don't have their aspect. These guys are facing the super wrong way. Fellas, going to be persuaded to leave by the Barb Strangler shot coming in. Tier 2 all round, well apart from YZ and Romulus. Falcons, I guess, from the red Eldar team here. Don't think a Wraith Lord is wise. This big open central area, Venom Cannons will shoot it down pretty quickly, I think. Mahror down to just 2 units, as is Angrathul. Bad tier 1 for the Eldar. Got caught a couple of times with some nasty flanks from the Tyranids. Using their power in numbers well. Moving as one. And it's hard to fight that. Really hard to fight that when Tyranids do it. Howling Banshees with the aspect of strength over here. Oh, jumping after some Termagants. Didn't see. Oh, there's a crippling poison. Hive Tyrant's had a big threat to those ladies with his Rending Talons. Not only is that good DPS, 75 melee, but here we see it. The Seismic Roar, knockback, and damage over time. Getting knocked back like that sets you up for a whole bunch more stuff to do damage to you without answering back. There's the Immolator from the Warlock. Power is up and good. Doesn't look like he wants to attack the Ravener head on. This Lictor's taking a lot of damage. What's he up to? Gonna go down. Down he goes. I see some dead Raveners over there, but he still has both of his Ravener squads, so didn't get him wiped. Oh, we do see a Wraith Lord here from Angrathul. Interesting to see how that guy does. And walk over the Ravener tunnels, of course. Oh, there's one over here that he spotted. Perhaps not that easy to spot them on this map with this kind of green atmosphere. Might be hard to spot some of those Ravener tunnels, especially if they're placed in shadows like that. Bad news for the Shuriken, does get away. Just suppress these Hormagaunts enough, but there's more Hormagaunts on them, and they do have their adrenal glands with some melee synapse help. Lomors getting the adrenal glands from his warrior brood, giving big buffs to non-synapse melee creatures like those Hormagaunts. I wonder if we'll see Gene Stealers from Lomors then. Power bashing over here, some more tunnels up that west side. That is pretty good for Lomors over there. They need to be a little bit more diligent taking out those tunnels, I think, the Eldar. Much easier said than done when you're trying to fight on 3 fronts. Oh, Warlock. Big mistake there. Didn't get the last hit on the Lictor Alpha. Could have taken him down. Misplay. Yipyip with a Falcon on the way. A bit late with the Falcon, but it's coming on. There it is. Oh, this is Mahror's Falcon. Gonna see 2. 369 to 200. Good damage to all targets from this Falcon. Also allows you to reinforce and transport infantry. Great transport vehicle. Wraith Lord leading the line. Might see this shoulder mounted Shuriken too. Well, here's some Venom Brood from Romulus. Do we see? Yes, we do. No, Acid Splatter. Gonna say a melee Ravener Alpha. I thought that was the Corrosive Devourer for a second. And the Synapse Aura for damage, which suggests we are gonna see Genestealers up. Because he's really focusing on this melee build here. Here's the Falcon of Yip. Needs to keep it at maximum range, of course. Shoot down those warriors. Hormagaunts do get away. Acid Splatter is an AoE weapon, has that splash damage on hit, some piercing. But the main attack is a power melee. Wraithlord still in play. Some Spore Mines over there from Romulus. Oh, don't think the Wraithlord wants to go in here. Venom-Brood going to get a lot of attacks on. What is this Hive Tyrant up to? Oh, wants to do that. It's going to go down on retreat though. Down he goes. Really wanting to get that Seismic Roar on the Shuriken there. 369 to 118. Double cap for Tyranids, looking pretty dominant in terms of VPs. Eldar haven't really turned their mobility into triple caps, have they? Haven't been able to get all the Tyranids off the field at once, it seems like. But, going to take the west side, looks like. The Warlock on capping duty. Falcon moving up to shoot some power, maybe? No, going mid. Tyranids continue to push forward. Warp Spiders barely getting away there for Angrathul. Wow, it's another Falcon for Mahror. Having success with his first one, I guess. Why not? Double Falcons, there's a lot of room mid. You can take one Falcon to the east side, keep one mid, try and split your forces. Look at all these Tyranids though, mid. 369, 61. 2-1 cap, steal for the Nids. Eldar running out of VPs. It's Wraithguard for the way, on the way I should say, for Angrathul and yipyip. They can keep them protected from melee. Will do a hell of a lot of work. But it's a big if. Here's the Wraithlord getting some repairs. Does have the shoulder mounted Shuriken. But is it going to last long? Oh, it is going to last long. The suppression getting all those Tyranids off the field. And that is a very long retreat back. Pushing up a little bit too hasty there, Romulus. No reason to do that, I don't think. I think he was trying to chase down the Falcon and finish it off. Something just died. That was the Warlock. And we do see the Genestealer Brood from Lomors, and he is getting the Rending Claws, giving them some heavy melee. Bad news for the Falcon. Are you going to suppress base turrets? There we go. Those guys trying to attack the Falcon in base there. Here's the Wraithguard of Angrathul. Do not see their Spirit Seer Warlock fella. But the Farseer herself will give them that Spirit Seer buff. Rippers tying them up. That's pretty cool. Came out of the Capillary Tower. Really annoying. Look at this. Warlock's back on his feet. And it's now a triple cap for the Eldar. Tyranids have big tier 2 armies. Lots of Venom Broods up to try and fight these vehicles. The Wraithlord is still around. Level 2 needs repairs badly though. Done relatively well, I think. Another Falcon on the way for Mahror. Triple Falcons. They're pouring out some damage here, that's for sure. Lictor Alpha fighting this Farseer, who's all alone in the middle. Needs to run away. She's still in play here. Not in retreat. Oh, gets a bunch of Venom Brood off the field. Got them a bit too far forward there, I think. Romulus. Ran into another Falcon of yipyip, who's getting some Seer Council in tier 3. It's bad news for those Venom Brood. Well, they might get some bad news in the form of Genestealers as well. I mean, Genestealers supported by melee Synapse is melee superiority all over. Pretty much nothing can touch them, not even a Nob Squad, I think, if they're both level 1 and the Genestealers have melee Synapse, because they just have so much melee skill. They have 90 melee skill, I believe, under melee Synapse, which means just knockdowns all over to everything. So much disruption comes out of them in a melee fight. 254 to 54 on VPs, a single cap fear for the Eldar. Rangers still in play. There's those triple Falcons. Can they get away? At least one of them might go down here. Genestealers are chasing. Don't see any Venom Broods, but the Warrior Brood also have some melee, heavy melee, and yeah, show your rear armor. That's what happens. Rippers being annoying, getting in the way there too. Kicking off in the middle though. Big engagement. Is this Wraith Lord gonna live? It took a thorax swarm hit. That was the electro shock grubs from that warrior brood, disabling its weaponry and slowing it down there. Wraithguard doing some work. Might want to set their Wraith cannons on those Venom Brood. Oh, they're off the field anyway. Good play from the Eldar. They need to get out and get a triple cap now if they can. But Tyranids are capping the flanks. Tier 3 for Angrathul. Mahror's still in tier 2 with those triple falcons, now a double falcon. Yipyip still has their falcon too, getting the energy field also. Farseer capping mid. There's a brood nest from the Hive Tyrant of YZ and tunnels everywhere from Lomors. He's done a good job keeping those things up. Seer Council fleeting away, using their fleet of foot, an ability they start with, and they're going to grab the west side, looks like the Eldar. And the east side, going to get a triple maybe. With 18 VPs remaining, they need those triples up. Offensive here from the Tyranids. Wraithguard need to be careful, need to back off here. Very slowly back off, they got caught. Some support though coming in from Mahror. Banshees need to use their war shout to maybe save those Wraithguard. There it is, suppressing those guys. Wraithguard need to run away, then really not running away here. And I mean retreat. Oh, nicely played by the Farseer with the gravity blade. Levitation field shutting down and throwing aside a bunch of stuff there. Just an unstoppable advance though from the Tyranids. Oh, what is this? Is that an Eldritch? It is an Eldritch. Might wipe out some Hormagaunts, but everything else avoided it, I think. Did get a bunch of stuff off the field though. Falcons now coming back out into play. Need to try and focus down those synapse creatures. A lot of damage poured onto the warriors, gets them off the field there. For those that don't know, when a synapse creature dies, it lets off a synapse backlash, which will knock down and damage nearby non-synapse creatures, if they can be knocked down. So Council fighting some spore mines here. Took a bunch of damage from them too, looks like. 150-18. 2-to-1 cap for Eldar, trying to come to this east side now. These double falcons have been awesome for Mahror. He's going tier 3, so could get double energy fields up too. Look how much red he has also. Nasty nuke maybe, and Yip also has enough for an Eldritch Storm, which could be vital. Carnifex on the way for YZ. Been pretty late getting into tier 3 and getting those monstrous creatures up, the Tyranids. Letting the Eldar back into this game maybe. I think if they had a couple of Carnifexes marching around earlier with barbed stranglers, would have been very different. But hey, they went heavy tier 2, trying to get rid of trying to fight those vehicles. Front of formation, facilitating a nice push in here. These capillary towers will buff nearby Tyranids, giving them a speed boost, I believe, and some like damage buffs maybe. Warrior Brood capping. Single cap still. Warp Spider's getting that damage on. I'm going to try and focus down those warriors. The Falcons, where the hell are you? Over here. Fighting with the stairs. Stairs in Dawn of War 2, one of the most dangerous things in the game. These are some dead Termagants if they're not careful. 87-18 on VPs. Nice webway gate over there. Who put this up? It was Angrathul, which means it can conceal nearby allies. That's an Eldritch Storm, but it misses everything. That was Yip attempting that. Didn't miss this though, the levitation field of Angrathul. Tyranids persuaded to leave, and this is turned red, and they have a webway on the west side. Holding on here, the Eldar with a 2-to-1 cap, 74-18. Still fighting the east side. Now they've cleared it up, I think. Energy fields up for both of these Falcons. Falcons have been superb. Both level 2 for Mahror. Really shrewd choice from them. Here's the Carnifex of YZ with a Venom Cannon built to fight those Falcons. Swarmlord on the way for Lomors. He's lost his Gene Stealers, but now YZ has some. Eldritch. Carnifex can take a lot of damage here, but is anything here to follow up that damage to finish it off? I don't think so. We have a Providence Warlock, I think. Yep. With the Witchblade of Kurnus too, a dangerous power melee weapon. Bad news for the Synapse Warriors. Have Tyrant with Psychic Scream. Does not have the Venom Cannon, this guy. Wow. That was painful. Bioplasma into a Venom Cannon shot. Finishes off the Falcon pretty damn quickly. That was Yip Yips. It's capping mid though. Meanwhile, west side. Autark dropped in by Angrathul. Great foot speed. Nice passive support too. And another Autark dropped in, this time from Yip Yip. Trying to stop these caps here, and they do. Red team retaining this west side, and there's the double cap, and there's the victory. I was not even paying attention to the VPs there. Eldar coming out super strong at the end, using those webways to great effect. And his Falcons were amazing. Providing some great fire support all over the map where needed. Tyranids kind of run out of steam. We're very late getting to tier 3 and getting these monstrous creatures up, I think. I say very late. This was a relatively short game, but lots of awesome action and very, very close. There's 18 VPs on it for the Eldar, but they held on to them very well. Let's look at these heroes end of the game. Level 5 Revenant Alpha with Reinforced Chitin. Acid Splatter. I was really expecting a ranged build from the Revenant Alpha, but hey, he went in melee. Did some good work early on too. Level 5 Hive Tyrant was down. Level 3 Lictor with Deadly Jump. Seemed to kind of fade late game, as he often does, that Lictor. Level 6 Warlock with a Farseer that I can't select. She must be inside a Falcon or a building. And the Warp Sword Exarch with no War Gear whatsoever at level 5. But a great choice to get those double Falcons up. MVPs, these guys, I think. There you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And see you next time.